Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trinity University's winter commencement exercises. I call this ceremony to order and ask that you please remain seated during the processional. Thank you.
morning. My name is Dr. Denise Jones, and I have the privilege to serve as Vice President for Academic Affairs. It is my honor to preside over today's ceremonies. Please stand for the invocation delivered by the Reverend Alexander Cerner Wallander, and remain standing for the national anthem led by Hannah Sussman.
Friends, as we gather to mark this momentous day, this milestone of celebration, will you please join me in a spirit of prayer? God of wisdom, we give you thanks. We give you thanks for this university, for the tireless teaching and learning, and for the Trinitonians of every generation who have brought us to this place. We give you thanks for this moment and this day, for the long journeys that have led us here. And in the fullness of this season and the excitement of it all, we take time now in the quiet of our hearts to remember and dwell in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for the growth that has taken place here, for insights gained, compassion cultivated, and knowledge nurtured. Be with these graduates now, that they might not forget who they were and who they have become. And as they cross this threshold, mark this moment with joy, as they continue on in the enduring Trinity family. In all of this we pray, may it be so, may it be so. Amen.
Thank you, Hannah. You may be seated. Distinguished guests, friends, and family, on behalf of the trustees of Trinity University, our faculty, staff, and alumni, and on behalf of the class of 2019, I am pleased to welcome you to these winter commencement exercises. I would like to begin by acknowledging the marvelous symphony you have previously experienced in the auditorium today with the prelude music. Would Dr. Brian Bandari please join me at the podium? Professor Bandari wrote and composed the symphony that you enjoyed in celebration of Trinity's 150th anniversary. The symphony was debuted by the Trinity Symphony Orchestra and was conducted by Assistant Professor Joseph Conyers at an October 2019 concert. More details are included in your program, but the university wanted to take the opportunity to show our appreciation for the contributions of these talented faculty members and to the legacy of Trinity University. Please join me in thanking them for creating this beautiful, moving symphony. Thank you, Brian. Now, let us greet with applause Dr. Danny Anderson, Trinity University's 19th president.
Good morning. It is an honor to welcome all of you to the final celebration of our 150th anniversary year, Winter Commencement. Trinity's first enterprise is to empower meaning for life. With the values of enduring excellence, intentional inclusion, and perpetual discovery, our degree candidates are prepared for lives of meaning. As we mark this accomplishment, we honor teaching and those who have taught them. Graduates, you have been nurtured and encouraged by the faculty and staff who often go far beyond the call of duty. Will the representatives of the faculty and staff stand so that we may salute you and your colleagues? We would also like to salute our alumni who know firsthand the value of a Trinity education, and many of whom work tirelessly on behalf of the university in myriad ways for many years after they have left our familiar campus. Will all Trinity alumni in the auditorium please stand and be recognized? También me da mucho placer dar una bienvenida especial a todas las familias de Trinity que hablan español. Para nosotros, el estar ubicado en San Antonio, cerca de la frontera con México, es un beneficio estratégico. De igual manera, la pluralidad lingüística y cultural nos da una fuerza especial como unidad. Muy bienvenidos, and I'll translate briefly. We are very proud of the diversity at Trinity. It is a feature that makes us stronger. I gave a Spanish language welcome to many of our families. I wish I could do that in all of the languages spoken at our university. There is another group that deserves very special recognition during these ceremonies. Our degree candidates know full well that they would not be here if it were not for family and friends and donors whose encouragement, support, and sacrifice did so much to make this day possible. Degree candidates, representatives of the faculty and staff, please rise and join me in saluting those who have made such critical contributions to the achievements we honor here today. Thank you. Please be seated. I want to take just a moment to invite you to reflect with me on the significance of our 150th anniversary as we bring this celebratory year to a close. As I stand here today, I cannot help but think back 150 years to Trinity's founding. In many ways, it must have been strikingly similar. A group of optimistic educators, undaunted by the challenges that lay ahead. A group of students eager to truly experience an education on the edges of their comfort zones. And yet, in many ways, it must have been markedly different. Just try to imagine for a moment. It's the year 1869. Our country is still reeling from a devastating civil war. As a state, Texas is merely 25 years old and still grappling with land use and agriculture governance. Limestone County, south of Dallas and east of Mejia, is an hour's horse and buggy ride from the nearest station on the Texas Central Railroad, one of the busiest lines in the state and one of the only to connect back to the national railway system. In the middle of Limestone County sits Tawakana, a pastoral town with scenic views and quiet fortitude. According to Trinity lore, outside the town sits a limestone cliff onto which the words are etched, "Build a Cumberland University on these hills." On April 20th, 1869, the spirit of Trinity was born when the three founding synods selected Tawakana as the site, selected Trinity University as the name, and established a university of the highest order as the aspiration. This spirit, one of enduring excellence, would remain a driving force for 150 years, a light in the face of challenges and hardships. As the university struggled financially, the spirit of Trinity guided the campus from Tawakana to Waxahachie and helped it flourish even through the First World War. When the Great Depression hit Texas, the spirit of Trinity inspired bold creativity, finding a new home in a merger with the University of San Antonio. And when the opportunity arose, the spirit of Trinity stretched out over an abandoned limestone quarry in what would become one of the most beautiful and iconic mid-century modern campuses in the nation. As you sit here, you are in one of these iconic spaces. I encourage you to feel inspired by this Trinity spirit. You, the graduates of Trinity's 150th year, are heirs to this past, which also makes you stewards of Trinity's future. You are an integral part of the spirit of Trinity, the same spirit that inspired you to make fascinating discoveries, develop socially conscious nonprofits, affect policy change, build meaningful and lasting relationships, make music, teach children, set records, or help a friend in need. After 150 years, the spirit of Trinity is still a force in motion. It is with that force that I implore you, be powered and be empowered by this spirit to do things you never thought possible. Use your experiences in classrooms and community service projects to explore complex situations with critical and creative thought. Use your inspiration from your faculty and alumni mentors to confront challenges that don't yet exist. Use your education in body, mind, and spirit to lead lives of meaning and purpose. However the Spirit of Trinity moves in you, today it is your turn to move the world around you. However you choose to live your life of meaning and purpose, you are a Trinity Tiger, and we are proud of you. Will everyone here join me in congratulating today's graduates with a round of applause? So as you think about the spirit of Trinity I've described, there is one person who truly embodies these characteristics, and it's Herb Sundberg, the current chair of the Trinity University Board of Trustees. He is a dedicated alum from the class of 1981 and a longtime supporter of programs that are vital to the success of the university. Herb's name has come to be synonymous with Trinity's pioneering spirit. As the founder of the Sundberg Venture Prize competition and supporter of Trinity's Arts, Letters, and Enterprise program, Herb has proven that the spirit of Trinity is both innovative and philanthropic. So I invite the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Mr. L. Herbert Sundberg Jr., class of '81, to come forward and address the auditorium.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson, and good morning. I would like to begin by asking the representatives of the board here today to stand and be recognized. Trinity's trustees include leading business and community leaders, women and men who share their professional expertise and knowledge to ensure the success of the university. More than 60% of the board membership is Trinity alumni. Whether alumni or not, we all share a deep commitment to the transformative power of a Trinity education that it offers for current and future generations of Tigers. As ambassadors for the university, we advocate on behalf of the university's mission. It is my hope that you, as soon-to-be proud graduates, will embrace your opportunity to represent Trinity University and advocate for your alma mater. We wish you success as you carve out your future in the world. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sundberg. One of the true joys of being part of this community is the opportunity to know students and to celebrate their many accomplishments. Our students are talented, motivated, and willing to take on new challenges. With that in mind, I asked Ty Tinker, immediate past president of the Student Government Association, to come to the podium to bring greetings on behalf of the students.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming, and congratulations to the graduates of 2019. It is my honor to welcome you DeLore Auditorium, where we are celebrating the graduates of 2019. We have a big future ahead. We face challenges and difficulties that no other generation has to face. I am proud to say that I am a Trinity student, and it is with a tiger's spirit that I will face these challenges. Thank you to Dr. Anderson, Dr. D for your advising. Thank you to the faculty, the staff, the alumni, which I have developed relationships. And thank you to our parents, families, and donors. We appreciate the support you have given to us, and we look forward to a future representing Trinity University. Finally, go Tigers. Congratulations, class of 2019. We'll see you in the future.
Thank you, Ty. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Doug Conyers, class of 1997, and president of the Trinity University Alumni Association Board, to greet you on behalf of the Alumni Association.
Good morning. As the current president of our Alumni Association, I'm honored and excited to be the first to extend a welcome to your group. Also, I want to reiterate what a special group you are in the history of this great university. As you know, this year, Trinity celebrated its 150th anniversary. Your class represents the capstone to those 150 years, as you are the newest alumni of our institution. As alumni, we represent the culmination of the purpose and goals of Trinity University. 150 years of discovery, growth, and of becoming inspirational change makers. Congratulations on achieving this lifetime membership into our association. We look forward to getting to know you, to being inspired by you, and to ultimately being led by you. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Conyers. This year's recipient of the Z.T. Scott Faculty Fellowship is an inspiring classroom instructor and a dedicated mentor to undergraduate students. She exhibits the epitome of innovative teaching strategies. For example, she requires students to think like archaeologists while sifting through piles of modern garbage. Without hesitation, she is always willing to experiment with creative ways of enhancing student engagement. What makes her exceedingly distinctive, however, is a determination to create powerful learning experiences beyond the classroom. As an expert in Mayan archaeology, she has regularly accompanied students to do fieldwork in the jungles of Mexico. Closer to home, she frequently partners with the San Antonio Museum of Art to create hands-on assignments for students in the pre-Columbian art and architectural course. It is a singular honor to introduce our commencement speaker today, Dr. Jennifer Matthews, Professor of Sociology and Anthropology and recipient of the 2019 Z.T. Scott Faculty Fellowship.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, and good morning to all of you. Today we are witnessing one of the most traditional events there is, the commencement ceremony. As a professor of anthropology, I understand the importance of rituals to formally recognize the major events in our lives. We refer to these as rites of passage, denoting when an individual leaves one group and enters another. Today, I'd like to serve as your anthropological tour guide to the college graduation and explain what we are witnessing today. First, you need to know that rites of passage have 3 phases. The first phase is known as separation, which is the process in which people withdraw from their current status. In the case of today's undergraduates, you left your status of being high school students and living at home to becoming college students. We highlight this separation at Trinity University with the ritual of move-in day, in which students move into a dormitory on a really hot Texas day, say goodbye to friends and family, and begin eating Aramark food for the next 4 years. The second phase in the rites of passage is known as liminality, or the period between states in which your status is somewhat ambiguous. This is the period where you are a college student, learning to navigate the culture of the campus. In addition to teaching you the skills of being college students, we indoctrinate you into our traditions, such as your first tower climb, rubbing the nose of the Leroy Tiger statue for good luck to our sports teams, or getting lovingly thrown into the Miller Fountain on your birthday. The last phase of the Rites of Passage is what we are engaging in today, and is known as Incorporation. This is the really exciting part, where a person has completed the rite and is assuming a new identity and a new status in society. Incorporation rituals such as the graduation ceremony are characterized by several traditions that we will be experiencing today. For example, graduates, you are wearing an academic costume known as regalia. You may have struggled with putting on those seemingly silly square hats known as mortarboards. However, you should know the mortarboard has a deep history. Under ancient Roman law, former slaves marked their status of emancipation by wearing caps or head coverings. Similar caps were worn as early as the 14th century to mark individuals that served as Catholic clerics, scholars, and professors. Thus, Oxford University was the first to adopt this symbol and to signify a college graduate's new station in life, and we've been wearing them ever since. You also go through the ritual of moving your tassel from right to left. This symbolizes the official end of your undergraduate studies. Those of you receiving your master's degrees today will be hooded by a member of your graduate department to signify the completion of your graduate studies. The academic gown was first instituted in the 12th century as a way for scholars to stay warm in unheated rooms. However, the black robes that you are wearing mark your special status in this ceremony and demonstrate that no matter how you got there, you are all equal in your achievement of earning a bachelor's degree today. In a few moments, we will ask each of you to walk across the stage and present you with the diploma that officially signifies your new status as a graduate of Trinity University. The meaning of the diploma has changed throughout history. The earliest diplomas were letters of introduction that the Roman government issued to travelers to ensure a safe journey. Starting in the 1st century AD, the Roman emperor also issued military diplomas to soldiers, given as a reward for time in service or valor in combat. This diploma conferred certain privileges, including citizenship, land grants, and the right to marry. It was with this in mind that Harvard College issued diplomas in 1642 at the first commencement ceremony. The university lined up the 9 graduates in order of their parents' prominence and delivered an address in Latin. He then handed each graduate a book of the arts, but apparently, at the end of the ceremony, Harvard took the book back. It was not until 1813 that Harvard College graduates were able to actually keep their diploma, and thus that tradition began. I'd like to note today that today's graduation is a particularly auspicious occasion. As you know, all of the graduates walking the stage today are part of a small and special group to graduate during Trinity University's 150th year. This new group of graduates joins the 35% of the U.S. population that has a bachelor's degree or higher. For those of you receiving your master's degrees, you are part of an even more exclusive group, as only 8% of the U.S. population that has attained this rare achievement. And lastly, I'm excited to give a shout out to a group of students that I hold near and dear to my heart. Today, 9 of our undergraduates will walk the stage as the first person in their family to graduate from college, and that is very special indeed. Regardless of who you are all here as the result of many different people working, supporting, encouraging, and sacrificing for you. Therefore, we need to recognize that the graduation ceremony is not simply a celebration of the graduates, but also of the friends, families, and supporters who are with us here today. To all of the graduates, as you get ready to walk across the stage and receive your diploma, I'd like to be the first person to welcome you to your new status as a college graduate. Soon, you will shed your black gowns and frame your diplomas. I hope that you will think back upon this day and remember that it was a symbol that you made it through all of the challenges that were placed in front of you and achieved your goals. From here, it is up to you to go out into the world and show them what you can do. Congratulations to the class of 2019.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. And now, will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please stand and remain standing? Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please stand and remain standing? In addition to these candidates, there are in absentia other candidates for the baccalaureate degree whose names appear on the program. Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of Trinity University, I recommend these candidates for the baccalaureate degree.
By the authority delegated to me by the Board of Trustees and in accordance with the provisions of the Charter of Trinity University, I now confer upon those of you who have met the graduation requirements the baccalaureate degree for which you have been recommended with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the recipient of these degrees please be seated? Dr. Dwayne Cothorpe, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, will present the baccalaureate candidates for academic degrees.
The recipients of the baccalaureate degrees will now come forward to receive their diplomas and be greeted by the President, Dr. Jones, and Mr. Herbert Sundberg, Chairman of the Board of Trustees. While the candidates are coming forward, I would like to call your attention to that section of the program which explains honors at graduation. In order to emphasize the achievements of the honor graduates, I will call the honor each has received when I call the graduate's name. Candidates receiving Latin honors with a grade point average of 3.5 or more wear the President's Award of Excellence Maroon Honor Stole. These names will also be listed on the Trinity website when grades are finalized next month. Bachelor of Arts, Louis Anthony Abshire. Hannah Bortz. Cameron D. Carlin, cum laude. Alexandra J. Gass, cum laude. August M. Gibert Hock. Laura Isabel Gomez Quintero. Madeline Michelle Haas, cum laude. Jessica P. Hernandez, cum laude. Grace Lauren Holt, summa cum laude. Addison D. Keller. Devin W. Ledbetter. Lauren E. Lee. Samantha R. Lerma. Bradley A. Long. Emmy Nicole Manahan, cum laude. Reed Arthur Martins. Benjamin M. Matthews. David A. Menchaca. David Joshua R. Montes. Alejandro W. Richard. Haley Janae Rodriguez. Valeria Saiz Perez, cum laude. Miranda E. Salazar, cum laude. Rebecca Jane Sanchez, cum laude. Marina Rachel Schweitzer. Presenting the diploma are her parents and former Trinity staff members, Sharon and Mike Schweitzer. Isaiah J. Specs. Hannah E. Sussman, cum laude. Carl O. Tigerstrom, magna cum laude. Pablo Esteban Travesari Burbano de Lara. Josephine E. Van Houten. Alice Eleanor von Indiebecker, magna cum laude. Isabella Gabrielle Weston. Kalista M. Wilson. Bachelor of Science, Yasmin Jordan Aleli, cum laude. Dayton M. Ames. Amy Kylen Bettis. Tyler J. Cagle. Presenting the diploma is his mother and Trinity staff member, Cheryl Cagle. Liam M. Crawley. Cameron L. Dreghorn. Seema A. Gavala. Jonathan L. Gottsman. Carolyn Lenore Haggard. Daniel N. Hinkes. Ryan P. Hunter. Russell Jacob Harrell Zeitelman, summa cum laude. Gavin C. Hoosie. Morgan Lee King, summa cum laude. Coleman W. Quapel. Kadarius D. Lee. Alexandra E. Lilback. Munyu Liu. Nicholas A. LeBeau. Jacobus David McClure. Evan N. Merriweather. Austin K. Michaelis. Benjamin T. Millette. Jennifer Suzette Ochoa. Shay M. Ramnares. Wyatt L. Stevenson. Robin L. Tran, cum laude. Justin C. Ventura, cum laude. Andrea M. Wise. This concludes the bachelor's degrees. Congratulations to you all.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Education please stand and remain standing? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Science please stand and remain standing? In addition to these candidates, there are in absentia other candidates for the master's degree whose names appear on the program. Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of Trinity University, I recommend these candidates for the master's degree.
By the authority delegated to me by the Board of Trustees and in accordance with the provisions of the Charter of Trinity University, I now confer upon those of you who have met the graduation requirements the master's degree for which you have been recommended with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the recipients of the master's degree please be seated? Dr. Michael Soto, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, will present the master's candidates for academic degrees.
The recipients of the master's degrees will now come forward to be hooded, to receive their diplomas, and to be greeted by the President, Vice President Jones, and Mr. Herb Sundberg, Chairman of the Board of Trustees. Master of Education, Robert Russell Allen. Celine Bordelon. Eric M. Gomez. Claudia E. Hidalgo. Jaime Roberto Hayan. Jeanette M. Martinez. Destiny R. Meredith. Abigail Beth Morton Garland. Eduardo Rios. Esteban Moreno Romero. Sarah G. Stewart. Kathy G. Vasquez. Gina Veda. Jessica Vidari. Mary J. Wisniewski. Sarah Eve Zapata. Master of Science in Healthcare Administration. Leah Diane Boom. John Hunter Branscombe. Jonathan David Calvin. Antonio Agustin Cardenas. Abigail Conte. Trenton Davis. Marissa Elaine Emmons. Catherine A. Fiedler. Taylor Brandt Fowers. Emily E. Gerwels. Francisco Rafael Gonzaba. Julia S. Graham. Elizabeth Claire Greenwood. Garrett Griffith. Nermeen Hermani. Nathan M. Hoser. Rachel M. Hubble. Emma M. Crable. Shannon Marie Lynch. Fitzgerald Marthel. Mercedes M. Norman. Lillian Ifanyikuchu Okoye. Mackenzie M. Quinn. Carol J. Richter. Jacob M. Sturkula. Jane O'Neill Thompson. Robert C. Vasquez. Andrew Joel Walton. Brett N. Walton. Amy Ann Walls. Mary Price Way. Mona Yalamanchi. Carolyn Claire Young. This concludes the presentation of master's degrees. Congratulations, graduates.
This is a very exciting day, and as we close this congratulations, thinking about our graduates, I want you to think about a tradition that you're becoming a part of. More than a half a century ago, during the first years of the Skyline campus here in San Antonio, President Jim Laurie bid farewell to the graduates each year with a challenge. This challenge deals with thinking about how you will leave here and use your degree as you go forward. His words hold true today, and I want to share that same challenge. Of itself, your degree is no certain mark that you are an educated person. That will be revealed by what you do, with what you are, and what you have, and what you know. True education translates knowledge into character and action. I look forward to seeing your true education translated into character and actions that will make a difference in our world. Congratulations.
We will now enjoy the singing of the Alma Mater, led by Ms. Hannah Sussman, followed by the benediction. When the ceremony is completed, the assembly will recess to the President's reception in the Great Hall. I do hope you will enjoy us in celebration of all you have achieved and will achieve as you continue your Trinity journey as proud alumni. Please stand for the Alma Mater, the words of which are printed in your program, and remain standing for the benediction.
And so, friends, may we now go forth, empowered by the Spirit, knowing that you join tigers of every generation in shaping the future that will be. So be blessed on the journey ahead. Be blessed in all that you do. Be blessed in all that you are. And be blessed with lives full of meaning and purpose. Go forth in peace to love and serve the world. Amen.